me, and you know, like, I put myself in the movies, which was dumb, because then people are like, hey, you're that fucking guy, put me in a terrible movie. So I can't really, if I walk on the floor, you know, you tend to stop and shit like that. And I always dream about coming in costume, you know, just like wearing a stormtrooper mask and shit. Coming as the fat stormtrooper. The one the Empire kicked out, like, what the fuck happened to this clone? Like, we hit the inflate button, I don't know. But I think I'd get picked out by my jean shorts and shit. They're like, he's the only stormtrooper wearing shorts. So I don't really like get to walk the floor that much, but it's okay. Like I watch the panels from backstage and shit like that. And now I got a kid, you know, and she runs out and buys a bunch of shit. And then I look at her shit when she brings it back and whatnot.
How old is she now?
She's 11. Yeah, she's a tween. She's getting close to that age and shit, where I'm gonna be like, don't look at boys ever. You know? Yeah. I'll just bring them here though. These are the boys that she can hang out with, you know. Safe pussies. Not pussies, respectful, you know. This is where I would tell my daughter, like, look man, if you're gonna go shopping, first off, fuck dudes, date girls, because girls are hot and like way less complicated than boys, and there's none of those horrible penetration issues. But if you're not going to do that, if you feel the need to date a fucking crusty old boy, come to Comic-Con, and that's where you're going to find a dude who will be slobberingly grateful for any attention that you give his dick. And she's like, I'm 11, shut up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Excellent fez. I like the pins too, man.
Hi, Kevin. My name is Mike. Kevin, you can tell that everybody loves you here at Hall H. You're like the dessert at the end of a great meal.
No, I just look like I ate all the dessert at the end of the meal.
And I would say this is what would go for everybody. You're Mr. Hall H.
That's so cute, man. Thank you.
Can I give it to you?
Yeah, fuck it. I'll take a free piece of clothing, yeah. Yeah, totally. Come find some way to get on up. That rocks, man. Thank you. How big is it? Yeah. What size is that shirt, dude?
Hello.
Hey, man. How are you?
Good. My name is Nick Funk, and I was wondering, when, aside from smoking a joint, when you're looking for inspiration or you get writer's block, what do you do to continue on with your storytelling?
He was here last year, man. He's wearing, there's the look of the shirt. He came up and he gave me a bag, and then I was like, come sit with me. And now he brought me a shirt, so I'm inviting him to sit down here. Ladies and gentlemen, the shirt giver. Okay, what do I do about writer's block? It doesn't really happen, man. I kind of, back in the day, I never really had a problem writing. I mean, writing, whether that writing was good or not, that's for somebody else to judge. But I never really had a problem writing, and the older I got, it really hasn't kind of kicked in yet either. And I find now, like, I always have THC floating through my system, and it kind of makes for a real. I didn't say you could have a drink. And I find that makes me, like, I don't know, weed kind of affects people in different ways and shit. Like, it's my friends, most of them smoke and like kind of pass out or just want to watch TV, but I don't have that. I wish to God that I could get high and just watch television, but I don't. I get high and I'm immediately like, I gotta write something, and I just start writing stuff, and 9 times out of 10 it's fucking horrible and makes no sense and shit like that. Where I'm just like, an octopus on the moon? What was I thinking? You know. But at the same time, I find it keeps kind of, I don't know, me creative, keeps me kind of sharp and shit like that. It's just fun too. It kind of takes you into a different place and whatnot, and you write from a different side of the brain than you tend to. At least I wrote from a different side of the brain than I normally did, but I haven't had a block yet. I'm waiting for it and whatnot. A lot of people thought that Cop Out was the block, but that was just something to kind of do while I was waiting to start writing the next thing or something like that.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. No worries.
Hey, Mr. Smith.
Hey, man, how are you?
Not too bad.
Right on.
I'm a sailor in the Navy, and I was wondering if you knew how big of a following you have in the military.
I've heard from some people in the service that they like the flicks, and it always puzzled me because I was just like, they have nothing about military service in them. They're like, that's why we like them.
Exactly. Basically, every time I've gone to borrow a movie from someone, I'm flipping through their book of DVDs. I come up with all your stuff. I run the TV stations on our ship when we're out to sea, and I'm constantly getting calls. Hey, put on that movie where the guy fucks the donkey.
And you're like, I'm not showing you my home movies anymore. Totally.
Anyways, have you ever thought of doing a USO tour? Have they ever been approached for anything like that?
I don't know if I've ever been asked, because generally the USO asks like really well-known people and shit like that. And I don't know if they did ask me, I don't know if I could do it, because generally the USO is like, we're going to send you to Iraq, and I'm like, fuck you, no way. Bring them all home, and I'll do a show here, you know. But you know, they've never asked me. If they asked, I'd be happy to go. You know, I mean, look, I'm never gonna fight for this fucking country. I'm too much of a pussy. But if I can go over and entertain some people who will fight for the country, that'll be me kind of doing my patriotic duty, I guess. Duty. Thank you, though, man. Thanks a lot.
Hey, Kev.
Hey, man.
I am an amazingly huge fan of Smodcast.
Thank you very much.
Whenever I have a bad day, I just put it on and you just brighten up my day, dude.
Thanks, man.
And I love it. You and Mosier are hilarious, but I love it when like you have Brian and
Walter.
Walt. But Malcolm's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, Malcolm is a dream friend.
How'd you meet Malcolm? I never heard the story.
Malcolm Ingram's a friend of mine. He's made a couple movies. He made a flick called Drawing Flies many years ago. He made a flick called Taillights Fade. And then in recent times, he's become more of a documentarian. He made this doc a couple years ago that I produced called Small Town Gay Bar, which is about this gay bar in Meridian, Mississippi in the middle of nowhere and stuff. And kind of about like how we all build our own families beyond our true families and shit. And then right now he's got a movie out called Bear Nation. And Bear Nation is a documentary about the bear movement within the gay community. And for those of you that don't know, bears look like me. I would be a bear. So would Malcolm. Malcolm's kind of a big dude like me too. Bears are essentially dudes who are as big as me, sometimes bigger, hairier, strong-looking truck driver types who fuck dudes who aren't as big as them. Essentially, if you're a bear, you got yourself a boyfriend, and your boyfriend's called a cub. And in the, and there are different, like Malcolm was educating me on this. Malcolm has always been one of my dearest friends, but he's also, once he came out of the closet, he became something of my gay avatar as well. Very much. Like basically I sit in something and put Malcolm on and wear him in the gay community, and he walks out there and sucks cock, and I get the benefit of it. But he's been the dude that basically, like, he would always tell me what was going on in the gay community, but he's the last dude in the world that you would imagine was gay. He's a friend of ours, been around all the time, the dude that we constantly go like, you're gay, Malcolm. Malcolm, you're so gay. You love cock. You love fucking dick. You put it in your mouth, in your butt. You love dick. And he did. And we didn't know it. And then we got weird. We got scared. We're like, did we make him gay? By constantly telling him how much he loved him. One day he's like, oh, fine. But Malcolm assured us he'd been gay his whole life, and then one day, as most gay people, just came to grips with it, decided, I'm gonna come out and fucking be me and blah, blah, blah. But when Malcolm came out, he found a specialized community within the gay community that catered to dudes of his size and shit. And he was always trying to sell me on it as well, because, I'm fat too. And he's just like, oh, this bear movement, you're missing out, dude. You don't understand, man. You and me walk into a bear bar, we're Marilyn Monroe. And I was like, right on. And I was like, who do you date? What are the guys like? He's like, it's dudes who worship fat. He's going, you've never had that before, have you? And I was like, no, most people kind of revile it and shit. He's like, these cats don't. Fat is a big part of it. Fat is a part of the attraction. It's like your personality and the fat is the very next thing on the list and shit like that. And they love it, man. They incorporate it into the sex act as well. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, man, when they're sucking my dick, I pick up my belly and rub their heads with it. I said, get the fuck out of here, man. He goes, oh, they love it. They love wearing the flabber hat.